This video is brought to you by Sportland. Quality, integrity, and tradition.
We are all hands on deck this morning. We are getting ready to change this package unit. So we've got it disconnected, the gas unhooked, Economizer folded in. We're just getting ready, waiting for the crane to get here. The new equipment's here. The guy that's going to remove the units is here, or take the old unit. We're just waiting for the crane.
So I'm going to stop the video real quick, and I just want to start out with, wishing everybody a happy new year. This is the first video of the new year. I got to say thank you very much all for last year, all the views, the comments, the encouragement I got from everybody. It's really awesome. Never planned on any of this, but again, thank you so very much. If you haven't already and you're interested in doing so, I'd highly encourage you to check out my website, HVACRvideos.com. There's links in the show notes of this video too, but we have a lot of merchandise on there. It's a great way to help support the channel. This hat being our #1 seller, black underbill. It's hard to explain, but this is a see-through material, but it's not a trucker hat. Super popular. The black underbill is like my favorite thing about it because there's nothing worse than working with dirty hands and then grabbing the underside of your hat. We also have some other hats available too. We have the dad hat. The actual, this one right here is like a clasp. It's for guys with like really short heads, not like normal people like me that have giant foreheads, but bald people. Very popular with those ones. My buddy Bill Russell, who's just, extremely bald ever since he was like 4 years old, has that. But we also have the flat bill. This one is a snapback flex fit. It's not the see-through breathable material though like this one. Also have beanies, cuffed, non-cuffed. Again, HVACRvideos.com. We're going to go ahead and get back on with the video. Thank you so very much, and again, Happy New Year.
All right, we got the new unit set. This is our first install with the core controller, so that'll be interesting. It's a like-for-like unit, so electrical and everything comes up in the same spot. So we're just in the process. So bring main power into the disconnect, hook up the gas line, hook up the drain line, put together the outside economizer, the outdoor air eyebrow. So that's what we're all working on right now. When it comes to the electrical, if you have long, like I have long electrical, I prefer there to be excess as long as it's not going to rub out. So I need to do some work to make sure that these aren't going to rub together. But it leaves a little extra for in case you have a burnt connection or something like that. We got all the electrical done. We're working on that. We're doing the gas line right now. Got some of the Nylog white thread sealant. Stuff does pretty good. Put it on there, and then we'll finish fitting the gas line. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, please don't blow up. Okay, so far, nothing's blown up. This unit shouldn't do anything. And then we're gonna check phase rotation right here. So what we're gonna do is connect, we're using the field piece SC480, and we're gonna go right here. You wanna come do this phase rotation, Will?
Yeah.
Do it right in here. So 1 to 2. 206, wait for it to tell us. It's line 1, 2, 3. So it says that it's phased correctly. We'll find out a little bit more. What we'll do is bump a compressor real quick. It sounds good, doesn't sound bad. So I think the phase rotation's correct. Now we need to go ahead and connect to this guy, which it says pair right here. So we're gonna hit pair, follow the instructions. Press pair button, wait 5 seconds, then release it. Let's see what happens here. And it looks like it's pairing right now. Maybe. Click next once you are ready. And let's see if it finds the RTU. It's looking for it. Nothing yet. Detected within 50 feet. So you want... Maybe we need, maybe it was supposed to be blue. That's not connecting. What is going on here? Sure I'm doing something wrong. Hold on. I power cycled the unit. I want to see if we get that blue light again. And then maybe I'm not supposed to push the pair button. It says give it a minute and we'll try. All right, we got the blue button again, so I'm curious if... So that's what I'm confused by. Maybe I'm too close. Let's try moving this over here. Start over. Okay, so if you have just powered on the RT, wait 2 minutes for boot up completion, press the pair button for 5 seconds, then release it. But what's interesting... Oh, so now it's green. I wonder, let's try again. Start over. No. What is going on here? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Ah, maybe that's what it is. Okay, now let's try. There we go. Now it's working. Oakley dokley. Okay, looks like we are paired. Now, it says to check to make sure you have the most recent firmware update. I don't know how to do that, but we paired it, so we're gonna hit finish. And now we're just gonna go through programming, I'm assuming. So it tells you what you need right here. We're unoccupied at the moment. We still need to program our thermostat too. Outdoor air temperature, damper position, unoccupied, okay. Let's go here. I mean, there's not really a whole lot here for us to do. Ah, there we go, okay. So maybe I can set the unit up. You can do component tests through this. Okay, so that's not too bad. Maybe I'll go through install. New unit setup. There we go. Next. Let's scroll through it. Today, is that today's date? No. What is today's date? Oh, that's odd. Ah, there you go. It is December 28th, 2023. Done. There we go. And our time right now, what time is it?
9 o'clock.
9 a.m. Done. Use mobile device, date and time. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, next. RTU name, we're gonna call it bar AC. Bar AC. I'll just call it bar. There you go. Serial number, that's all right. Done. Next. That's not too bad. I mean, it's just really just walking you through all the steps here. Configuration. Okay, so that's the settings that the unit has. I'm going to verify via the door that that's correct. That's going to be the economizer, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go verify that real quick. All right, configuration ID is correct. Okay, dehumidification mode disabled. That's correct. You know what's interesting is this unit on the panel. Where's it at? Right here? It's labeled humiditrol. This is not a humiditrol unit. There's no reheat. You come in here, I think they mislabeled it. There is no reheat. I don't see a reheat coil. I don't see extra discharge lines. There's nothing. So they labeled it wrong as humiditrol. We didn't order humiditrol. So I was confused when I saw that this morning. I was like, we didn't order humiditrol. So let's go down here. High efficiency. Yeah, no, they did not order a humiditrol. Fresh air tempering kit. It says factory installed. I didn't see that. I was curious where that was at. I don't see my supply air sensor. I mean, there's the basic supply air sensor right here, but when they do fresh air tempering, they usually want you to install the discharge air sensor, like, you know, far down in the ductwork. And I have the fresh air sensor from the old unit, but I don't have it. I don't know, whatever. We'll deal with that later. But yeah, I don't see any humiditrol in here. They do have sensors, which is new. But yeah, I don't see humiditrol. Don't see a reheat coil. Or do I? No, I don't think I see a reheat. No. That's odd. All right, so we're good there. And it's just waiting for the unit to get a call for cool or heat. And I have Will going down there to program the unit. Everything looks good. We look good. Finish. And we are pretty much ready to go. We can go. We do have to program the thermostat and stuff, I mean the economizer, but we're gonna do that in a few minutes. So I'm gonna wait for Will to finish up the thermostat programming. We'll get a call for cool, and then we'll go in and do what we have to do to program the outside air damper and stuff. All right, the blower came on. It's running in the right direction, so that's good. The way we have this unit set up is G is my occupied signal. So from G goes to OCP. It's really important to have that occupied signal because you have features in the unit that won't work right if it doesn't have an occupied signal. So however you need to do it. Some building automation systems might run occupied and then let the unit take over control. This one we're going to be using the thermostat downstairs. So as far as doing the upgrade over USB, I thought maybe it would do it through my tablet, but no, it's asking for a USB cable, and I don't have one of those, so we're just going to run with it the way it is right now. Man, they sure have like a lot of stuff packed in this unit. Granted, this is a 17.5 ton, but my goodness gracious, look at that rat's nest of wires. Holy majoli. That's gonna be a mess. Interesting though, huh? Okay, well, we're just waiting for a full call for cool, which he should have in a few minutes. All right, we got a call for Y1. Just this compressor, there's Y. Oh no, that's the second stage for Y1. And then the other two will be dead. So we're doing good there. Cancel. Next. Turning the blower on near people could result in serious injury. Oh, okay, cancel. We don't need to deal with the blower right now. Well, I think I just did that because cancel. Cancel. I don't need to make that change. But it is cool that you can do the blower speeds and everything in this unit. That's really neat. So you can go in and set the blower speeds because this does have a 2-speed blower via that guy right there from the VFD. So it slows down and speeds up based on the demand for cooling and heating to try to be more efficient. While we're waiting, we know we're getting a call for cool. So let's go ahead and set our economizer options. That's the offset. We don't need to worry about that. And then set free cooling, supply air set point. We're gonna go a little bit lower. I'm a little more aggressive on my free cooling. So 50 degrees, it'll go free cooling next. And then ventilation options, we'll leave that where it's at. And then that's when it's gonna open. Demand control ventilation, we're good with all that. We'll leave that where it is. Fresh air heating on, fresh air heating set point. So anytime it gets to 40 degrees in the ductwork, it's going to bump the fresh air heating on. Anytime it gets above 90 in the ductwork for cooling, it's gonna bump the cooling on. And that way they don't just blast people with cold air. So that's cool. Do that. All right, this is really cool. I do have to say that I like the core controller so far. So far, it's not difficult to operate at all. Currently doing a damper. We're calibrating the damper opening and closing. So right now it's opening. So this is cool. Once it's fully open, you can just hit confirm. So you can see it's slowly opening right now. And then once it gets to open, we'll hit confirm, and then we'll be able to set our minimum outside air position. All right, we are opened all the way, so we can hit next. Turn blower on. Blower's coming on. Minimum damper position. This is high speed. So they got to get test and air balance over here, but basically I can come in here and make adjustments for now and get it where I think it needs to be, and then test and balance will have to dial in what they want. All right, we are good. Damper's set up. We do have a demand right now. We need to give the unit a minute. There we go. Demand for G and Y1. So I really like that. It gives you all the information right there. That's really cool. So they make it really easy going through this because local thermostat inputs. So that's basically what your LEDs are saying right there, which you guys can't see very well. But then you can go to sensors or set points. Like let's say you want to do where the unit has its own control, okay? And you just give it an occupied signal, then the unit's sensors and everything take over. You can set up your occupied and your unoccupied heating and cooling set points, all that good stuff. So if you didn't know, that's one thing about the Lennox units. It really easy, even on the old L series units, you're able to put them in standalone mode where all you got to do is give it an occupied signal to say that someone's in the building. And when you do that, you don't need all the other thermostat wires. The unit will run itself. So if you ever have a bad thermostat on a weekend and you don't have one, you can actually just go into the unit. I've done that before, get you through the weekend. Just set your run times, you know. I mean, shoot, even when I did it on the weekend, I didn't have an occupied signal, so I just gave it a permanent occupied signal and just had it maintained 75 and 68 for the weekend, and then came back out and changed the stat. But it makes it really easy because you can just simply do it, and you don't have to get into all the real programming of the unit. You don't have to go through the trees from the Prodigy 1 controller that would get confusing. So that's really neat. Pretty cool. You can do the testing too, heating and cooling. So we went into component test, and then we're testing heat right now, firing out the heaters. So we're only doing first stage right now. So we're just waiting for it to turn on. Looks like we got to clean up a few dribbles. But I like it. I like this core controller so far. So we're burning off the heat exchangers right now. But we're walking around and we were looking, from the looks of it, it looks like maybe we have 2 ECM condenser fan motors and 2 regular condenser fan motors because there's only 2 capacitors. But we're looking in here and these nuts for the condenser fan motors are all loose. Every one of them. They didn't get tightened on. Well, that would have been a problem. Microchannel condenser, condenser fan motor drops down. But all the way around, every single one is loose. So we got to get up there and tighten these all. That's crazy. That's why you check this stuff. Every condenser fan motor, all 4 bolts were loose, to the point that after a little bit of runtime, those things potentially could have fallen out. And that wouldn't have been good because in the middle of the summer, it would have ruined a microchannel condenser. Someone over at Lennox went on lunch a little early, huh? Probably the same person that marked this unit as a humiditrol when it's not a humiditrol unit. Let's see. Yeah, it's doing both. Okay, cool. So that's good to know. On component test.
No, it's only doing the one side.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there's no thing.
Oh, so on interesting. Something that I'm realizing is they don't have a, at least I haven't found it yet, a full call for heating. So I did second stage, and I was wondering if the first stage would come on too, but no, only the second stage is running. But another thing that I just noticed, this restaurant's been in existence for 20 plus years, is that the combustion air vent blows right into the makeup air for the building. Oh wait, did this just light? Oh, it did just light. Okay, so that makes more sense. Heating stage 2 does both stages. That makes a lot of sense there, because when you're doing a routine maintenance or something, you want to fire them up into full heat, full cool. You want to be able to do that. So when you go into component test, just do second stage heat, and then it does the first stage too. Now we're doing a cooling test. So we put it into stage 4, and it's turning everything on. What I'm confused by though is right here it says blower percent 25% blower speed. I don't know why it would say that for all 4 stages, but it's not doing it that low. It's running at 54 hertz. So okay, so we've got all 4 compressors on. Warm discharge lines, they all just came on. I just want to make sure everything's good. Let's go down here. Discharge air temperatures. What information does it give me? Return air temperature. Okay, so it really doesn't tell you anything besides return and supply temp. It doesn't let you like look in and look at the data or the vitals, which kind of sucks, because if they're measuring superheat, why can't I read it? Although they probably don't have pressure transducers, so no, they're not measuring superheat. But yeah, all right, well, we're cooling. It's rather cold outside to be really doing a whole lot with that, but that's cool. All right, well, for now, I think that's gonna be it. Again, we're gonna be coming back with test and air balance. We're gonna be coming back with the fire alarm company, all that good stuff. But for us today, this unit is installed and it is operating and the customer's happy. This is the first time I've done a Lennox core controller, and I have to say, so far, super easy. I like it. I don't like the messiness of all the wires. Like, that's chaos, pure chaos. I don't know what this is about. Like, I think they were trying to make it look neater, but it just makes it look sloppier. But, all right, well, oh, another thing too is they used ferrules or whatever those are, so those are kind of cool. For all the wires, instead of just crushing down on the wires, you actually got little terminals. So that's neat. Well, we are good to go. I don't think that went too bad at all. Surprisingly, the whole process was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. I thought that change out itself was going to take more of the day, but it's nice when it's a like for like replacement in that situation. So as I'm editing the video, I realized that, you know, and I mentioned in the video too, there's a few things that I didn't show. You know, these videos are not like, I don't go into these thinking like, okay, I'm going to show the entire process. This is a step-by-step. Of course, I try to show a few little highlights here and there, but my main priority is actually doing the work, right? You know, and I know a lot of people ask me like, hey, how come I don't shoot with like a GoPro where you can get a first-person view, that kind of stuff. Honestly, GoPros are a pain in the butt. They really are. It's so easy to film with my phone. It really is. And if you get, you know, into a routine like filming and cutting and continuing, it's just super easy. So I have a bunch of GoPros, but it's always difficult. The other thing about GoPros is they tend to film in a much wider angle. And when you have first-person perspective, it's really difficult for someone that gets motion sickness to edit those. And that's one of the big things too, is because I get motion sickness. So as I'm watching this, trying to edit it, it's very difficult. And I know there's going to be a lot of people, how come I don't get an editor? Well, finding an editor that can actually edit technical videos is impossible, like damn near impossible. Okay. Yeah. You know, I can find an HVAC service technician that likes to edit. Then it runs into the problem. I'm editing in 4K. I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro. And so that just adds a lot more issues and red tape to the whole thing. You know, of course, anybody can, you know, get CapCut and edit and do this different stuff, but it's not doing it in 4K. It's not using the right file sizes. Like, it just gets really complicated. So my brain
basically makes everything really complicated. That's typically how it is. But I do wish there was a better way to film first person perspective, because I wouldn't mind doing it every once in a while, and certainly it would help me, but you know, it is what it is. I'm going off on a tangent as usual. Thank you, you know, whatever. But now let's talk about the core controller. The core controller, setting this unit up, super easy. I had some issues with the pairing process, right? And I kind of left that in there so that you guys could see. It definitely was some clips that I cut out, but it was a little bit longer with the whole pairing thing. If you follow their instructions, it makes it seem like it's super easy, but it is a little bit difficult trying to figure out the pairing thing. But once you do it once, it probably is pretty easy after that point. But I mean, once I got past the pairing stuff, like setting that unit up was super easy. And one of the most important things that I think needs to be mentioned, and this is not an paid endorsement or anything like that, I got no affiliation with Lennox, okay, is that you don't need a username or a login to access the unit, which is huge, okay? There's some manufacturers out there that put everything behind a paywall or make you have their specific software. This one is relatively easy to set up. Didn't need a login or anything. Just had to be so close to the unit, scan the QR code or recognize the unit. Like, it was super easy. I also see some potential problems with that. I would have to, you know, explore a little bit more to make sure that there's like password protection. Now, this unit is not connected to a network, so nobody can access it from the internet. But, you know, I don't know. Like, I guess the Bluetooth signal from the unit's not that strong, so you do have to be probably within 10, 15 feet of the unit. So anyways, that's a whole nother problem for another day. Set the unit up. We did find some issues, okay? Number one, I realized in editing this video, you did not see me tap the transformers. That is one of the more important things when you're working on these package units. They typically come tapped for 230 volts in this situation, or 240 volt. I had to drop it down the tap to 208. Realized I didn't show that in the video, but we did get that done. The next thing is, you did not see me do a full heat startup on this unit where we tested gas pressures and checked all that. That happened actually the next day when we went back out there. Had someone else go back out there and do the heat startup, so I didn't get that on film. But always important, you know, I realize when I'm editing these things that there's certain things, and I usually catch it. Other than that, the startup of this unit was pretty seamless. It went to be a good day. You know, it's important before we do these jobs, everybody knows their, you know, their tasks that they need to complete for the day. We have safety meeting. Everybody knows, be careful, don't get under the load, you know, that kind of stuff. And everything went seamlessly. Oftentimes you're working super early in the morning because this one, shopping mall, they didn't want anybody in the building. We had to take all the customer, or the customer had to come out of the building and stand and watch. We had to rope off the parking lot. Like, it was this big old long, lengthy, ridiculous process that was kind of unnecessary, but whatever, you know. So we had to do an early morning start. So it's kind of cool to see the sunrise as you're going up. But overall, I think this job went well. Was very happy with the Lennox core controller. Super easy to use. Lennox definitely needs to fix a few things. You know, the unit was labeled a humiditrol when it wasn't a humiditrol unit. Okay. Actually, when it was sitting on the truck in the parking lot, because I got there like an hour and a half before the job because I'm a nut, right? So I was sitting here and the delivery truck was already there. So I was over there inspecting the unit, checking out, making sure it was gas heat. That's a story for another day. Ask me on one of my live shows, whether it be my live stream or the HVAC Overtime show, about the unit that I installed that had the wrong heat package on it. That was a mess. But anyways, when I was in the parking lot, I was looking and I was like, man, I didn't order a humiditrol. Like, that's not right, you know? So I was like thinking about refusing the unit. Good thing I didn't, right? Because I get in there and it wasn't a humiditrol. It was just labeled wrong. Okay. And then the other thing was those condenser fan motor brackets. So I don't know if the video really explained what it was. That's the entire bracket assembly for the condenser fan motor. So it has a bracket that comes down and there's little bolts that go through, and every one, the nuts were loose. So over time, that unit running, it's going to vibrate. Those things would have fallen out. Not a good thing. So they definitely need to work on their quality control. Make sure that they're catching that stuff before it leaves the factory. Luckily, we were checking a few things, so we went around, made sure that we tightened up all the lugs, set screws and everything just to be sure. But other than that, this was a great job. It all went well. I'm thankful that everything happened the way that it did. And I'm very thankful for you, the viewers, because you guys watch these videos consistently. Thank you so very much. Leave me some feedback down in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you haven't already, like I mentioned in the video, check out my website, hvacrvideos.com. Also, there's a couple other ways to support the channel, but I do have to say the easiest way, like the easiest way to support the channel is literally just watch the videos from beginning to end. That's it. That's all you got to do. Okay. That is the easiest way. But again, I mentioned my website. You can go to PayPal, Patreon, YouTube channel memberships, TrueTechTools.com. If you're interested in purchasing any tools, I was highlighting the Fieldpiece SC480 meter. You can pick that up from True Tech Tools. If you use my offer code Big Picture, that's one word, Big Picture, at checkout, on most of the items on their website, you'll get an 8% discount. And when you do that, I get a small commission from it. So that's another great way to help support the channel. Again, that's at TrueTechTools.com. Okay. Thank you so very much. And we will catch you on the next one.